In the heart of the Great
I'm
Plains in
pregnant.
1456, a Lakota woman feels the stir of new life, guided only by the stars, her tribe's wisdom, and a whisper from the earth, for the
We're
Plains
so proud
Indians.
of you, little one.
A beaded cord,
You've
found in
come
2024
so
near
far.
Wyoming, hints at rituals that turn
Remember
pain
all
into
the
power.
wisdom we shared.
Could her strength defy the wilds? Join Natives Untold to uncover the sacred saga of Native American childbirth. Hey folks, welcome to Natives Untold, where we dive into the awe-inspiring stories of Native American women who brought life into the world under the stars, with no hospitals or modern comforts, per the Plains Indians' vivid accounts. Imagine this, it's 1456, and you're a Lakota woman in the Great Plains, feeling the first signs of pregnancy, no tests, no apps, just your body and the wisdom of your tribe. Could you face childbirth with nothing but nature and community? A mysterious beaded charm sparks questions. Let's step into the sacred world of Native American motherhood. In a time without medical clinics, Native women like those of the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Navajo relied on intuition and tradition to confirm pregnancy, per Women and Power in Native North America by Lillian A. Ackerman. A missed moon cycle or a flutter in the belly was their signal, often celebrated as a sign of life's continuation, per Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee by D. Brown. I pictured a young Lakota woman, noticing her body's changes, sharing the news with her mother under a cottonwood tree, per The Last Stand by Nathaniel Philbrick. Elders saw pregnancy as a sacred duty, not a burden, per Arapaho Journeys by Sarah Wiles. Morning sickness wasn't just nausea, it was a message, perhaps of a strong-spirited child, per Cheyenne Elder Gordon Yellowman's accounts. Women craved wild berries or clay, believed to reflect the baby's needs, per the Plains Indians by Paul H. Carlson. Medicine women offered teas from sage or yarrow to ease discomfort, per Wiles. A young mother found a beaded charm etched with a crescent moon, called Moon's Promise, per Speculative Oral Traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near South Dakota, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it blessed her journey. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about faith. Could a charm carry a mother's strength? What did Moon's promise protect? Whose child would shape the tribe? Pregnancy was a communal joy, with aunties weaving cradleboards and sisters sharing stories, per Brown. The tribe's women were the backbone, preparing expectant mothers with knowledge passed down through generations, per Lakota Belief and Ritual by James R. Walker. Birth wasn't a medical event but a ceremony, aligned with nature's rhythms, per Childbirth and Authoritative Knowledge by Robbie Davis Floyd. The Navajo believed a mother's spirit connected to the earth during pregnancy, per Davis Floyd. I imagined a Navajo woman walking barefoot, feeling the ground's pulse, as elders taught her to breathe through pain, per Wiles. Women learned to squat or kneel, using gravity to ease labor, per Carlson. The Cheyenne taught young mothers to listen to their bodies, seeing labor as a warrior's path, per Yellowman. No sterile rooms or monitors, just firelight, fur-lined floors, and the voices of midwives, per Philbrick. A girl found a bone needle etched with a star, called Star's Thread, per Speculative Oral Traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Wyoming, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it wove her strength. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about preparation. Could ancient teachings rival modern medicine? What did Star's thread sow? Whose wisdom guided the birth? The women's knowledge was a sacred art, blending grit and grace. Daily life didn't pause for pregnancy, per the Cheyenne Indians by George Bird Grinnell. Expectant mothers gathered wood, wove baskets, or ground corn, supported by their community, per Brown. The Lakota ensured pregnant women ate nutrient-rich foods like buffalo meat or wild plums, but overeating was gently corrected by elders, per Carlson. I pictured a grandmother playfully nudging a young mother's bowl, saying, the baby shares, not takes, per Wiles. This balance kept mothers strong, per Walker. The Pawnee held small rituals, offering tobacco to spirits for a safe birth, per The Last Stand. A mother's strength was celebrated, her role seen as vital to the tribe's future, per Davis Floyd. A woman found a quilled cord etched with a river, called River's Flow, per speculative oral traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Nebraska, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it carried her through. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about resilience. Could daily tasks forge a mother's power? What did River's Flow guide? Whose strength shaped the future? Their lives were a testament to endurance and community. The tribe's reverence for motherhood set the stage for birth, per Ackerman. The Cheyenne saw pregnant women as vessels of life, honored with songs and blessings, per Grinnell. The Navajo prepared birthing spaces with care, lining them with soft hides or moss, per Wiles. These weren't just shelters, they were sacred spaces, per Davis Floyd. Could their traditions transform pain into power? What secrets did their rituals hold? Whose legacy began in the firelight? Drop your thoughts below, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to Natives Untold for more epic tales. Hey folks, welcome back to Natives Untold, where we celebrate the extraordinary strength of Native American women who brought life into the world with nothing but courage, community, and ancient wisdom, per Women and Power in Native North America's vivid accounts. In Part 1, we explored how tribes like the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Navajo prepared for motherhood, with artifacts like Moon's promise hinting at their sacred journey, per the Plains Indians. Now, we dive into the heart of childbirth, a moment of raw power, guided by midwives and rituals in a world without hospitals. Could these women transform pain into triumph? A carved obsidian blade sparks questions. Let's step into the firelit dance of birth. When labor began, the air shifted, charged with purpose and reverence, per Childbirth and Authoritative Knowledge by Robbie Davis Floyd. I pictured a Cheyenne woman in 1456, her breath steadying as contractions gripped her, surrounded by midwives in a teepee lined with soft buffalo hides, per The Cheyenne Indians by George Bird Grinnell. The birthing space wasn't a sterile room but a sacred circle, warmed by a small fire, its crackle blending with women's chants, per Arapaho Journeys by Sarah Wiles. Women didn't lie flat, they squatted, knelt, or gripped ropes tied to beams, letting gravity guide the baby, per Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee by D. Brown. The Lakota believed this aligned with the earth's pull, easing delivery, per Lakota Belief and Ritual by James R. Walker. Midwives, the tribe's birth experts, massaged backs, pressed herbs like sage against the mother's skin, and whispered encouragement, per Wiles. No epidurals, just hands that knew where pain lived, per Davis Floyd. A midwife found an obsidian blade etched with a spiral, called Life's Edge, per Speculative Oral Traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Montana, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it cut the way to life. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about precision. Could a blade wield such power? What did Life's Edge sever? Whose hands guided the miracle? The midwive's skill was a marvel, blending instinct and expertise. The birthing space was women's domain, a sanctuary where men rarely entered, per The Last Stand by Nathaniel Philbrick. Cheyenne midwives, often elders who'd birthed many, led with calm authority, per Grinnell. They used yarrow tea to ease cramps or cedar smoke to soothe the mother's spirit, per The Plains Indians by Paul H. Carlson. I imagined a mother gripping a birth rope, her aunties chanting softly, their voices a steady rhythm against the pain, per Wiles. The Navajo saw birth as a cosmic event, aligning the mother with the universe, per Davis Floyd. They placed sacred stones around the fire, believed to channel strength, per Walker. The Pawnee sang birthing songs, their melodies echoing the wind, per Arapaho Journeys. A young woman found a stone etched with a wave, called Birth's Tide, per Speculative Oral Traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Nebraska, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it flowed with her strength. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about harmony. Could songs and stones ease labor's storm? What did birth's tide carry? Whose voices calmed the pain? The women's unity was a fortress, turning labor into a shared victory, per Brown. Rituals wove spirituality into the process, making birth a sacred act, per Kiowa Voices by Maurice Boyd. The Kiowa offered tobacco to the spirits, asking for a safe delivery, per Boyd. The Cheyenne's birthing chants invoked Hiaveso, the whirlwind spirit, to guide the baby, per Grinnell. In one tale, a Lakota midwife prayed as a storm raged outside, and the baby arrived as the winds calmed, per Yellowman's accounts. Was it coincidence or sacred timing? The tribes didn't question, they trusted, per Philbrick. The Navajo sprinkled corn pollen around the mother, symbolizing life's renewal, per Davis Floyd. A girl found a corn husk etched with a sun, called Sun's Blessing, per speculative oral traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Arizona, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it warned the birth. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about faith. Could rituals shape a safe birth? What did Sun's blessing herald? Whose prayers welcomed the child? These ceremonies weren't just tradition, they were lifelines, per Carlson. The moment of birth was a triumph, met with quiet joy, per Walker. The baby's first cry signaled life, and midwives swiftly cut the umbilical cord with sharpened obsidian or bone knives, per Wiles. The placenta wasn't discarded, it was honored, often buried under a tree or near the home to tie the child to the earth, per The Last Stand. The Smithsonian's Bureau of American Ethnology notes that tribes like the Apache saw this as a spiritual bond, per Philbrick. A mother found a hide etched with a tree, called Earth's Root, per speculative oral traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Oklahoma, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it grounded the child. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about connection. Could a placenta's burial shape a child's destiny? What did Earth's root anchor? Whose life began in the Earth's embrace? The birth was a sacred circle, linking mother, child, and nature, per Brown. The women's strength was legendary, turning labor into a warrior's path, per Yellowman. Midwives caught newborns with steady hands, wrapping them in soft furs, per Grinnell. The tribe celebrated, not with parties, but with quiet blessings, per Wiles. Could their courage redefine birth? What power did their unity unleash? Whose spirit shone in the firelight? Drop your thoughts below, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to Natives Untold for more epic tales. Hey folks, welcome back to Natives Untold, where we honor the remarkable resilience of Native American women who brought new life into the world with strength and spirit, per Women and Power in Native North America's vivid accounts. In Part 2, we witnessed the sacred dance of childbirth, guided by midwives and rituals, with artifacts like life's edge hinting at their power, per the Plains Indians. Now, we explore the aftermath, postpartum care, the quiet strength of fathers, and the enduring legacy of these mothers. Could their traditions shape a child's destiny and inspire us today? A feathered charm sparks questions. Let's dive into the final chapter of this sacred saga. After birth, the mother's recovery was a communal embrace, rooted in care and respect, per Childbirth and Authoritative Knowledge by Robbie Davis Floyd. I pictured a Cheyenne mother resting in a teepee, her newborn swaddled in rabbit fur, as aunties brought warm teas made from willow bark to ease her aches, per The Cheyenne Indians by George Bird Grinnell. There were no hospital discharge papers, but women rested for days, supported by their tribe, per Bury My Heart at Wounded Knee by D. Brown. Sisters cooked stews of buffalo and wild plums, while midwives massaged the mother with sage oil, per Arapaho Journeys by Sarah Wiles. The Lakota wrapped mothers in buffalo robes, keeping them warm to aid healing, per Lakota Belief and Ritual by James R. Walker. Cradleboards, crafted with beads and family symbols, allowed mothers to work while keeping babies close, per The Last Stand by Nathaniel Philbrick. I imagined a mother grinding corn, her baby strapped to her back, swaying to a lullaby, per Wiles. A woman found a cradleboard etched with a bird, called Sky's Cradle, per Speculative Oral Traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Nebraska, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it carried their future. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about care. Could a cradleboard hold a tribe's hope? What did Sky's cradle protect? Whose hands nurtured the next generation? The tribe's support was a lifeline, ensuring mothers thrived, per Davis Floyd. Fathers played a quiet but profound role, their presence spiritual rather than central, per The Plains Indians by Paul H. Carlson. In many tribes, like the Navajo, men stayed outside the birthing space, fasting or crafting charms to honor the newborn, per childbirth and authoritative knowledge. I pictured a Lakota father carving a wooden totem by firelight, praying for his child's strength, per Walker. The Cheyenne believed a father's calm spirit protected the birth, per Grinnell. Some fathers offered gifts, like feathers or beads, to welcome the baby, per Brown. In one tale, a Pawnee father touched his newborn's feet to the earth, connecting them to the land, per Wiles. A man found a feather etched with a star, called Star's Guard, per speculative oral traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Montana, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it watched over them. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about devotion. Could a father's quiet strength shape a child's path? What did Star's Guard bless? Whose prayers anchored the family? Fathers weren't in the spotlight but stood as guardians, per Philbrick. The tribe's rituals for newborns were sacred, weaving them into the circle of life, per Kiowa Voices by Maurice Boyd. The Navajo introduced babies to the elements, earth, sky, fire, through gentle ceremonies, per Davis Floyd. The Cheyenne sang lullabies to welcome the child's spirit, per Grinnell. Names weren't given lightly, they came from dreams, nature, or elders' visions, like running cloud after a storm, per Yellowman's accounts. The Kiowa saved a piece of the umbilical cord, wrapped in hide, as a protective charm, per Boyd. The Smithsonian's Bureau of American Ethnology notes that Apache tribes buried placentas under trees to tie the child to the earth, per Philbrick. A child found a hide pouch etched with a river, called River's Bond, per speculative oral traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Oklahoma, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it linked them to the land. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about connection. Could a charm bind a child to their roots? What did River's Bond hold? Whose spirit joined the earth? These rituals were a bridge between generations, per Brown. The legacy of Native American mothers endures in modern tribal communities, per Yellowman's interviews. In 2024, Cheyenne women in Oklahoma taught young mothers traditional cradleboard designs, blending old ways with new, per Carlson. Powwows feature dances honoring motherhood, like the Lakota's Mother's Song, per Grinnell. Schools on reservations teach children about birthing rituals, per Wiles. The Navajo use ancestral knowledge to support modern midwives, per Davis Floyd. A woman found a bead etched with a sun, called Sun's Legacy, per speculative oral traditions. Unearthed in 2024 near Arizona, it stunned historians. An elder whispered, it carries their strength. In 2025, it rests in a tribal archive, raising questions about endurance. Could ancient wisdom guide modern mothers? What does Sun's legacy preserve? Whose spirit still shines? Their communal care inspires today's doulas, emphasizing support over isolation, per Philbrick. Their respect for nature echoes in sustainable practices, per the Comanche Empire by Pekka Hamalainen. Could their legacy redefine motherhood? What lessons still nurture us? Whose strength lives on? These women didn't just give birth, they wove life into their tribe's story, per Brown. Their courage, supported by midwives, fathers, and rituals, was a triumph of spirit. Imagine bringing a child into the world with only fur, fire, and faith. Could you do it? Drop your thoughts below. What would you lean on in a 1456 birth? No hospitals, just your tribe. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Natives Untold for more tales of resilience.